I'm Rosie from Webcakes, and today I'm going to show you how to make a loop bow. So the equipment that you're going to need to make the loop bow is laid out here. Just run you through that. You need a straight edge, measuring tape or a ruler, or if your straight edge has got measurements marked on it, that's fine as well. We've got some edible glue, some cocktail sticks, some icing sugar for dusting, a rolling pin, a small sharp bladed knife. Now this is the paste that we're actually going to make the bow out of. I'm using flour paste. I find it's the best because you can get it really thin, which looks more realistic, and also it dries really firm and really solid, so you've got less risk of breakages. So that's to make the bow. Now to assemble it, you'll also need some royal icing. This is some that I've made, and some sugar paste, and these need to be in the same colour or a very similar colour to the colours of the loop itself. So if you're making a white one, obviously you want white. If you're making blue, you want blue, or red. So in addition to that, you just need to set up an area to dry the loops, and I find that the best thing to do here is just go to your local hardware store and you can use a broom handle, or this is a piece of decorative pipe, clean it, sanitise it, and you just want to make a little stand. Obviously I just used books, just rest it up there, and we'll dry the loops of the bow around that, and you'll see that a bit later. Okay, so let's make the loops. So get your paste, take out a section to work with. Now remember, as soon as you've opened this packet, the air is going to start drying this, so it's important to reseal it, keep it as airtight as possible, because once it's dried out you won't be able to use it. So you just want to work a section of this paste in your hands just to warm it up and make it nice and soft and pliable. And once it's getting there now, and then we just need to roll it out. The other thing you need to do in advance is work out the size of the bow that you want. So I know that I want a 12cm bow, so therefore the strips that I cut need to be 12 centimetres, and that'll make more sense in a minute when I actually do it and you see it. And the other thing as well is you need to know how many loops to make. Now this depends on you know, how full you want the bow to look, but you want probably at least 15 and a few extra for breakages. So that's ready to go. So I've just formed it into a little sausage shape, and I'm just going to roll this out until it's really quite thin, because as I mentioned earlier I'm using flour paste, so you can go really thin on it. And the thinner actually the better, because it looks more like an actual ribbon when you're finished. So just keep rolling. Probably a little bit thinner than that. So, as I said, we need them to be 12 centimetres long, so this piece that you roll needs to be at least 12 centimetres long. Obviously, if you can get it 24, then great, you'll get 2 cuts out of it. Okay, so that's about the thickness we want. So what I'm going to do now is take my straight edge. This is 2.5 centimetres wide, which is quite a nice size for the loops, but you can make them, you know, if you want to do really thin ones you can do that, but this makes quite a nice template. So just place it onto the paste. I'll just try and get out of the way so you can see this. And you just want to keep the pressure down on the paste so it doesn't slip underneath the straight edge. So you use that as a template one side, and then also cut the other side. Again, keeping the pressure down so it doesn't move. and you can take away the side bits, and what you're left with is your strip of paste with nice straight edges. So we need to cut this now into the 12cm strips. So take measure 12 centimetres and cut. Another 12 centimetres and cut, and that's all I'm going to get out of this one. So these excess bits that you've cut, you can just do the same again. If you can get enough thickness here to do one more, great. If not, quickly ball it up and get it back into the bag so it's nice and airtight. Cut 12. We've also got 2 more out of that. Okay, now so these are actually going to form your loops. So if you imagine that that's what the loop's going to be like when it's finished, it's sometimes easier to assemble them if you cut these corners off. So just form the loop together. Just take those off. Do that for all of them. Okay, so before these dry up too much, I'm going to move them over to the drying area. So basically what you want to do is just hang it over. Cocktail stick, little dab of glue, just apply that there, then join the ends together and just let it hang. Just slide it down, then do the next one. And just repeat that until you've got enough loops to form the bow. Okay, so this is the final loop that I've made. I've managed to get 20 loops out of that 100-gram packet of flour paste, which is great because it will give a nice full bow and it will also allow for any breakages. What you need to do now is leave these to dry, and they need a good amount of time to dry, at least a couple of days. And it will depend slightly on the temperature and things, and humidity and weather and things where you are. Ideally give them a week. So because of that, the rest of this tutorial will do using loops that I made a week ago. Okay, so what we're going to do now is assemble the bow. It's best to do this straight onto the cake. So what I've got here is 7-inch square cake, and obviously it's iced, and I've just gone over with a cross of red icing, the same one I used to make the bow out of, so it matches. What you need to do first is get a small amount of matching sugar paste, roll it into a ball, and then you just want to ease it out into a circle shape. Now this is going to sit on your cake here. So what I'm going to do is just use a dab of royal icing to stick this on. And on it goes. Now the idea is that you're not really going to see this, you just do it in the same colour, because when you look at the cake, if you to see through it and it's a different colour, it would be really obviously different. So the first layer of the bow is going to have 7 pieces. So take the 7 pieces and position them, and you'll have to move them about a little bit to get it right. So just get them on the cake roughly to start with. And this is where I demonstrated with the blue bow, where I cut the corners off. You can get the kind of bow in closer together if you cut the corners. So you're looking for roughly like that. And then what you need to do is secure each of these pieces. and use the softness of the sugar base you just put on to get the bow stable. See how this kind of wobbles? If you take this and just gently ease it into that, makes it a lot more firm. So I'm just going to go around and do that now, and I'm going to use a little bit of royal icing just to secure each bow into the sugar paste where I want it. So just do that for all the loops. Okay, so we've built the first layer now. As you can see, I mean, it's not dry yet, but if I sort of touch that, it's a lot more solid than it was before. So you're now able to build the next layer. Now the idea is that the loops will rest on top of each other, but you want to avoid as much downwards force as you can, because that's what would potentially break it, particularly if you're using a softer paste. So again, we need another ball of icing, probably slightly bigger this time, and it's going to go into the middle here. So flatten it out again, and this one needs to be a little bit bigger so it's thicker, which allows you to get a better angle. So just hold it up for size, that looks about right. And again, we'll just secure this with some royal icing. Other one to there, onto the actual base of this. Don't need too much royal icing. Once royal icing sets, it sticks really very well. So just pop that into the middle. And when you're pushing down on this, push down in the middle. Try not to push too much on the actual bows, because you'll shift them all. So don't forget it hasn't set yet. Okay, so the next layer you need 5 loops. So just set them up first so you get an idea of where they're going to sit before you start gluing anything. It's not bad, and you can sort of adjust them until you're happy that they're equal distances apart. And then again, same thing as before, we're just going to go round and secure each of these in place with some royal icing. So this first one in here, and again push it down into the soft pad of sugar paste you just put on, so it's not entirely supported by the row beneath it. Okay, so that's the second layer assembled. So now we just need to do the final layer. Very similar thing, another ball of paste. Obviously this time you're pushing it out to a smaller diameter so it fits in the middle. You can just roughly guess that. Some royal icing on here to secure it. And then down into the centre. And then the last 3 bows, loops, sorry, will fit into here. Now this is a good time to kind of stand back and have a bit of a look at it and see where, perhaps like these ones, because they sit close, you might want to have this one here so you don't have a gap all the way through here, for example. You may find that you can only fit a couple of extra loops in at this point. And if that's the case, then that's fine, just position them so it looks neat. So I think this one, just because it's quite compact, you're probably only going to get a couple of loops in, so you can twist them like this if you want, or whatever you think looks right. And then exactly the same thing as before. Just using some royal icing. Secure them into place. You You can also use edible glue to do this bit instead of the royal icing. I just find the royal icing gives you, because there's more substance to it, gives you a little bit more kind of flexibility. And there we go. That's the assembled bow.